Welcome to a video for students in the composition program at Wichita State University. This video will help you evaluate the bias and reliability of sources that you find during your research process. You probably already know that you should check the credibility of sources you find through Google and other internet browsers. Some Google results might be trustworthy and a good fit for your research project, but some might be misleading or wrong. However, you might not know that you should also check the credibility of some library sources. Library databases do provide access to highly credible scholarly articles. However, many library databases also provide access to non-scholarly sources like magazines, newspapers, videos, and other types of sources that don't easily fit into these categories. Some of these sources might be useful for your research project, but before you use them, you should check their reliability and bias. This video is going to go over one tool for checking the reliability and bias of media platforms like newspapers, magazines, and news websites. Let's begin by looking at some smart search results. In this example, I have searched the terms school cell phone ban. As I scroll through the results, I can see a range of source types, including peer-reviewed academic journals, newspapers, and periodicals, which usually refers to magazines or digital news outlets. For the sake of this video, we will focus on this result, an article titled "New Yorkers Across Political Spectrum Back School Cell Phone Ban." Smart Search has labeled this as a periodical article, and based on the information provided in the result, I can see that it was published on Bloomberg.com. Since this is not a scholarly peer-reviewed journal, I need to check its credibility before I go any further. To figure that out, I need to leave the library database and the source and do some lateral research about the publication. One good resource for learning about the credibility of a media platform is the Ad Fontes media website. Ad Fontes is an independent organization that has analyzed over 10,000 articles in order to evaluate the reliability and bias of different media outlets, including magazines and newspapers. From the Ad Fontes media homepage, I am going to click on Media Bias Chart at the top of the page and then select Source Pages from the drop-down menu. This will take me to a page where I can search for specific publications. In my case, I will enter Bloomberg into the search field. I am given two possible results, Bloomberg Government and Bloomberg News. From prior research, I know that Bloomberg.com is associated with Bloomberg News and that Bloomberg Government has a different URL. However, if I didn't know that, I could easily Google it. I will click Bloomberg News, which will open a new page that provides an overview of the website's reliability and bias. When I scroll down, I can see that Bloomberg is rated as having middle bias, which means that it is considered neutral, and that it is rated as reliable. Based on this information, the article I found in the library database is probably credible and a good source for my research project. Now that I know it is credible, I can go back to my search results and read the article. I can also look up sources through Ad Fontes' free interactive chart. To do this, I will scroll to the top of the page and click the interactive chart. This will open a new page. I will scroll down, put Bloomberg into the search field, and click Bloomberg News from the results. I may be prompted to sign up for the mailing list, but I can close that notification and then look at the results. The chart is organized by bias and reliability. Bias shows up on the horizontal axis, with neutral sources in the middle, left or liberal-leaning sources on the left, and right or conservative-leaning sources on the right. The further a source is away from the middle, the more bias. The reliability is organized on the vertical axis, with highly reliable sources at the top of the chart and unreliable sources at the bottom. The higher the source on the chart, the more reliable it is. If you look at the chart, you will see a dotted box in the top center of the chart. This box demarcates sources that are generally trustworthy. You'll see that Bloomberg is located in this box, which means that it is a trustworthy source. This chart is especially useful if you are looking up a smaller source that doesn't have its own page on the website. However, it does limit the number of sources you can look up before you need to download the free chart. So I always start by looking up source pages. This is one tool that you can use to check the reliability and bias of non-scholarly sources. You can find information about other tools on the English 102 Library Guide. If you have questions, talk to a WSU librarian. They are always willing to help. You can talk to them in person at the library, or you can chat with one through the ENGL library website. Simply go to the ENGL library website and scroll down to find the Ask a Librarian icon.